Welcome to the show where we nerd out about pretty much anything, from games, shows, and movies.
To music, toys, and comics of all types of fandoms.
This is GeeksspeaK.
Hello, everyone. As you can see, we are here again for another episode of GeeksspeaK.
As always, we're going to be talking about the Bad Batch.
Don't say always.
Always. We're
No.
going to be talking about the Bad Batch until the end of time.
Oh, God.
Nah, but realistically,
It's still going. So,
Yeah,
this week, along with our usual shenanigans, we're going to try to hit the main points of talking about Bad Batch and Loki.
And, this week's episode was called Bounty Lost, which I already knew how the episode was going to end just by the name of the title.
Oh, yeah. Clearly,
Like-
they were going to get Omega back.
Like, Battlestars, I called it. They're talking about maybe Rex's Battlestar from the inhibitor chip
You
being
did say
removed.
that. And
Then
then
Reunion, Crosshair comes
that
back.
one was, come on, that was easy, though.
Yeah, that just a lot of play on titles.
Right.
But anyways, from basically continuing from last week's episode, we meet Cad Bane for the first time in this series, and he captures Omega.
Oh, of course. But, dude, I liked that in this new episode, we actually got to find out, specifically who hired him.
Well, yeah, I think we figured that out last week.
Well, okay, we knew the Kaminoans hired him last week, but this week gave us two confirmations. We also know that is it the
Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister, yes. The Prime Minister specifically hired Cad to go get Omega so that they can continue their experimenting. But, dude, we totally find out this episode that Fennec Shand was hired specifically by Lama Se.
Yeah, Lama Se, yeah.
So she hired Fennec Shand to go
Nala
get...
Se.
Nala Se, yeah, sorry, I don't know names.
Yeah, I was a little confused. I couldn't remember her name at first, so I put the wrong last name, and I'm like, oh, it's this last name, and let me correct.
Yeah.
There are 3 Kaminoans in this episode, so I knew the one by heart from, those who watch the movies. The one appeared in Attack of the Clones, but we're going to talk about that later.
To be honest, I don't remember any of them.
Well, that's fine, because we...
But, dude, Fennec Shand was definitely hired by Nala Se to get Omega back. So this, dude, that means we're definitely going to get to a point, because this episode, Cad Bane and Fennec Shand fought. They were both trying to.
When I was rewatching that, all I had to say was, what is this, Call of Duty 1v1?
To be honest, when I was watching it, I didn't really know who to root for or what to think. There were some parts of the fight where I was like, oh yeah, Cad is the old master. He should definitely win this. And then there were other parts where I was like, okay, no, Fennec's got moves. She deserves to win this.
I wasn't rooting for anyone, but it was cool to watch while we saw Omega struggle to get away.
Well, I wasn't I was rooting, actually. I will say that, because I was taking sides. Because now if you think about it, Cad is bad and Fennec is good, because if Fennec gets Omega, no harm is going to come to her because she's going to go to Nala Se.
Well, with Fennec, although we are kind of cutting ahead,
we are, and I've just realized we don't really have to go chronologically, because like you and me have stated many times before, y'all should definitely have watched the episode that we're referring to before you watch this. We didn't even give a spoiler warning this episode, which, my bad.
We seem to forget, but at the end of the day...
I've been trying to sneak it in the intro for the picture. Sometimes I'll throw spoiler warning in the rooster crow, because...
Yeah. But so Fennec, she made it seem like that Fennec was gonna take Omega with her to not return to Kamino, but Cad Bane, he got hired for a job. His intents are to complete said job.
Right, but again, we find out they both goof the frickin' job up. He loses. Fennec Shan kills a Kaminoan and loses the unmarked credits, and Omega goes free. So I mean, like, now what does Cad even have to do?
But speaking of the killing of the Kaminoan, that is, for those of you who are actually fans of the series, she is Tanwei, or Tanwei, however you pronounce it. And we first see her in Attack of the Clones when she greets Obi-Wan when he goes to Kamino, trying to figure out where a dart came from that we see Jango, if you remember watching the movie.
Oh, yeah!
He shot a dart in his contact that, because he hired Zam Wesell to basically kill Padme.
Yep.
And when Zam Wesell was about to give up Jango, he shoots a dart in her neck, and she gets killed. He takes the dart to his buddy Dexter, Obi-Wan does, and Dexter reveals that it's a Kaminoan saber dart.
Okay.
So he's looking for Kamino on the galaxy map and whatnot. He gets to Kamino, he gets greeted by Tanwei, and then Obi-Wan then meets Boba.
Right.
And then meets Jango and whatnot. So we now know her fate, which kind of sucks because I'm like, oh, hey, I know that Kaminoan. But yeah, so... Oh, and then speaking of Boba, he's a pure genetic replication of Jango, as they stated.
Yeah, they did talk about that.
And so is Omega, and for those of you who remember, when we were first talking about this show, a certain someone on my left didn't want to necessarily believe that Omega was a Jango clone, but I'm like, but she looks a lot like Boba. And that confirms it. This episode confirms that she is a pure genetic clone of Jango. So. Okay. Yeah?
You know what? You kind of got me, all right? Yeah. But let me just say that I didn't say I didn't want her to be a clone.
You did not say you didn't
want her
to be.
I didn't even say that necessarily she's straight not. I said I think she could not be because, like, the girl thing kind of threw me off, honestly.
Yeah, no, like the fact that she's a pure genetic replication of Jango, but they switched the genes around to make it a female clone.
Right.
It's definitely baffling. And then we got looking stuff up, and then we found out that Jango had a sister in Legends. So you took the theory of, maybe she's a clone of Jango's sister, but then we find out that even if she was a clone, that it wouldn't make sense because she would be in prison shortly after Order 66. It couldn't have worked. So, this episode confirms
but see,
that she's a clone of Jango.
My time watching and studying Marvel has got me all screwed up now because it's like I'm picking at stuff that's not there in this show. Like, you don't know how many times the credits come and I'm like, all right, we're going to see an end credit scene. No. Why?
Not yet.
Why? But like, yeah, so I kind of thought when they made Omega a girl, like, oh yeah, she's a girl, but she's still Jango. That's the obvious answer, but I thought that would be the perfect way for them to throw in, like, oh no, she's not. She's a different clone. But you're right. Fuck me. Nope. They're just good at messing with clone DNA.
Yeah. And that's what I've been saying since the beginning.
But... yeah. We find out she doesn't have any advanced aging.
She doesn't have any advanced aging, so she's basically the same age as Boba. Wherever Boba is, who knows?
Okay, because I don't know. From her actions, I'd say 12, 13-ish.
Yeah,
Seems about what she'd be.
That sounds about right. But yeah, so like I was saying, she did look a lot like Boba. So,
You're right.
Although I wish she really had her amulet thing on her hair still. But,
honestly, like, after episode 1 and episode 2 definitely threw me off. But, like, after episode 4, I got used to it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with it now. Now I feel like if she put the amulet thing back on, I'd be like, whoa, who are you? That's not the Omega I know.
But,
Kaminoan spy.
But speaking of the whole bounty thing, or not even the whole bounty thing. Speaking of the Kaminoans, uh, so Lama Su, the prime minister, he sends Tan Wei to go to that abandoned facility from the planet Borovio.
Yes.
And basically what he was saying is that he wants Nala Se to collect her DNA and then terminate her, which obviously she doesn't like that idea.
Right,
at all.
yeah, she's attached. That's like her daughter, I feel like, in a way.
She has been protecting her since
Day one.
Episode 1. Literally, episode 1. But the planet Borovio, I tried looking it up. I even went on Wikipedia, and the only appearance that it said that it had was in this show.
Really? Oh, I was watching a couple videos on it, and I believe the only, like, canonical appearance it has is in a video game. I think it might have possibly been referenced in a video game or in Legends somewhere, maybe.
It probably Legends, but I don't know.
In any case, we saw like some weird alien birthing pods there.
I feel like I mentioned in my notes that maybe they were cloning more Kaminoans, which I don't know. Like they
didn't look like Kaminoans though. They looked like the traditional alien heads. Kaminoans kind of remind me of like a Stegosaurus a little bit.
Well, I'm pretty certain that was a Kaminoan that got broken out of that pod, but
I just assumed that it was some other random alien race and they were trying to do clones on other people or other organisms other than Django.
But if that was a clone of a Kaminoan, then I'm pretty sure Star Wars Theory back in the day made a theory that if the cloning, like if Kaminoans are the only ones that can do cloning, then they probably cloned themselves as well, or something to that line. I don't know the exact wording of his theory, but if that is the case, then he basically was spot on with that theory. And
I mean,
but Borovio, why it's an abandoned facility, I don't know. Maybe something went wrong there. Like maybe they were trying to clone themselves and messed with their genetic DNA too much where something went bad and they're like, we gotta shut this shit down.
Oh, okay, maybe. So that weird alien we saw could be one of them, but just messed with. Okay. I can get behind that now that you said it that way.
So, like...
That does make sense, though. Like, I mean, if you're gonna get cloning technology, why the hell would you not start with your own species? Well, never mind. Us humans test on animals.
Yeah. So, are humans animals with Kaminoans? Like, wow,
yeah,
way to look at us, Kaminoans.
I mean, honestly, I would test on humans. Screw it. If you voluntarily sign up, whatever happens, happens.
I mean, not to, like, it's kind of like the same situation. Like, look at Planet 51. The astronaut lands on that alien planet, but to the aliens...
He's the alien.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, that's exactly what it is, but I don't know. My first instinct was they were just cloning different alien races, because why would you just try to do Django?
Yeah, no, I saw... I think they had different species, but it just so happened that the pod that Omega dropped on Fennec, I'm pretty sure that was a Kaminoan.
Maybe. I really don't know.
Because some of the pods that she looked at, some of them did not look like a Django clone or...
Yeah, for sure. It was so big, though. That's my only thing. Like, we've seen clones and humans stand next to Kaminoans, and, I mean, they're still taller, don't get me wrong. They're bigger.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this thing, like, towered over Fennec. But, like you said, it could have been something they messed with beyond repair, and then they were just like, shut it down.
Yeah, probably.
So, I'm down with that theory.
But then... pretty much throughout the rest of the episode, it's just Omega trying to contact the Batch. And then Fennec and Cad Bane got...
We also find... Alright, sorry. Quick little...
Yeah?
Dude.
Yeah?
We found out this episode that Hunter is her favorite of the Bad Batch.
Oh yeah? Why is that?
Well, I mean, because at first I was gonna say, oh, because she was so worried when he got shot, but like one of her dad figures got shot in the chest, I'd be worried too, you know. But no, because when she was trying to contact them, like you were saying on the radio, she was like, "Help, guys, Hunter, I need you." She would have said like, "I need everybody," but she said, "Hunter, I need you," or "Hunter, help." Like she did single him out.
If she specifically said Hunter, do you think that could have just been because she was worried?
Well, yeah, she could have been worried,
So
but
I wouldn't necessarily say that Hunter is her favorite.
But think about it. She was saying it in a time of fear, which means she wasn't really thinking. She was just reacting. So she just blurted out Hunter first. So he's on her mind first. And you're right. It could have been because of the injury. But either way, she's like concerned for him.
I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as favoritism. Uh, but I don't know.
I mean, okay, maybe I can word it a different way then. I think Hunter's the dad of the family. Let me put it that way. Like, if the Bad Batch is a family, he's the dad. Because obviously he's the leader, but...
Yeah, realistically, I would definitely see him as the dad. Wrecker's not the dad.
No.
Wrecker,
He
he has a mind of a child.
Wrecker's like the big brother.
Yeah.
Or like the like 32-year-old guy still living at home, the emotionally stunted man-child.
Jesus. And then at the end of the episode, Fennec sabotages Cad Bane's ship and whatnot, and then Fennec gets in contact with with Nala Se, and she tells her like, "Hey, I can track the clones because it's the same set of clones. I could track them and go after Omega."
Now we need money.
Now we're good. She's more safer away from Lamasu.
Yeah, right. She knew as long as they were with the Bad Batch, like, all right, as long as they're not here, we're good.
So, but that's the thing, though. Will Fennec stay off their tail, or will she still go after Omega? Actually, no. I feel like that's dumb.
No, don't say that, because I was just thinking that.
No,
and
I
you're
feel
kind
like
of right.
It's dumb, but because I feel like possibly Bane will still go after them, because
the way I'm thinking about it is originally no, they would stop because mission's over. She told them not to. She's not paying them. Why would Fennec go after it? But the way that everybody's chasing after Omega now, and she knows Bane's caliber, maybe she's like, all right, I'm just going to capture her and sell her to whoever wants her because she's got genetic material that's worth something. But that doesn't make sense either, because for all that, why do you need Jango Fett cloning material? Why can't you just take any? If you know the cloning process, why can't you clone anything?
Well, she's other than Boba, Omega's the only one with the first generation pure genes.
But
so.
If you wanted first generation pure genes, why don't you just go grab any bystander off the street and be like, all right, come here.
They want Boba. They want Jango clones.
Why though?
Because he was a bounty hunter. That I don't know.
Obviously, he was super good and talented and skilled, but
they
you really think there's not some other egotistical asshole in the galaxy that's like, oh yeah, I'm good enough to be cloned?
Either way, though,
like Cad Bane.
They want Jango because that's whose DNA they've been working with for 10+ years. And as you can see, they breeded the Grand Army of the Republic.
Right.
Which is thousands and thousands of clones. If not, maybe tens of thousands.
Yeah, they bred a lot of people.
Yeah, so.
But still, why specifically Jango? Why can't you take anybody and clone them?
I don't know. I'm sticking with what I just said.
Whatever. So. But still, so not even the Kaminoans, though. Other people could be after Omega if they know how valuable she is.
I'm sure of it. But then again, I just don't see Fennec chasing after them still because, as Nala Se said, yeah, no, we no longer need you to go after her. So Fennec may not go after her still, but Cad Bane, I feel like he'll be a threat in next episode.
Why though? What's his?
Because he didn't get the word that they no longer need Omega.
No, you're right, but he straight up saw the contact get killed and his money go flying off a hill. So if Cad, okay, if we do see Cad again and he does become a problem for them, we're gonna have to see a scene where Lama Su contacts him again and says, "All right, like I'm gonna pay you more. You need to complete the mission this time."
Well, even after the contact was shot and the money was dropped, he was still going after Omega.
Yeah, but I think that was just because like he was trying to mess with Fennec.
Either way, I'm not gonna sit here for 10 minutes talking about. Oh yeah, no, this person's gonna go after her. Oh no, that person. No.
Everyone in the galaxy is gonna go after her. Okay,
Well,
Sid's coming for her.
She's definitely valuable, and there will definitely be other threats.
I don't know. I don't see her as that valuable.
specifically-
You can clone anything, I feel like.
But specifically, the two bounty hunters that we met, that were hired to go after her, Fennec is gonna say screw that and stop going after her. Maybe she will come back, but as maybe someone to help the Bad Batch protect her.
Possibly.
But other than that, bounty hunter wise, out of the two that we met, there are plenty of other bounty hunters throughout the
I was
galaxy.
gonna say, okay, question. Do you see more bounty hunters entering the picture? Like,
maybe
do you think Lama Su is just gonna keep hiring people until someone completes the job?
I feel like will definitely hire more people because he specifically wants her DNA, because it's basically Lama Su is money hungry.
Right, but if you're money hungry, how much money do you have to keep paying all these bounty hunters?
He's money hungry because if you remember from the first episode, if they develop a good relationship with the Empire, with the clones, they'll still want them to breed more clones for their army. And
yeah, they'll still make money.
Yeah, and if they have Omega's genes to clone more.
But if that's the plan they're hinging on, then that must mean he's not really making much money now, and he just lost a bunch of unmarked credits from Fennec Shand and Cad Bane shenanigans. So how much money does he really have to keep hiring bounty hunters, though?
Well, how much money do you think that the Kaminoans made during the Clone Wars? They kept breeding more and more clones throughout the Clone Wars.
You're right, but I don't know the cost to make clones or make their new facility. Like, maybe they started cloning in the first facility and then made a whole new facility because of all the money they got. I don't know how good they are with saving or spending.
So, all I'm saying is that they're essentially a business. What Think
right,
of a
business that's not making money right now, though.
They're definitely losing money right now, for sure. But think about, like, if a business is losing money, and they know a way to they know a way to start making money again. I'm pretty sure a CEO at a business is gonna push for an idea until it gets accepted and whatnot. Like some companies are genuine, but then some companies like EA. Just gotta say that EA.
Oh, okay.
They like to push stuff on you,
right.
Like EA, they like to push microtransactions on people, like Battlefront 2.
Oh my gosh!
When that game first came out, I heard you needed to pay they apparently people paid like $60 for the game. But they needed to grind like 60 hours just to unlock Darth Vader, and then they had like a loot crate system that was like $2 per loot crate, and then you could buy credits, and then there was like a gem, like a crystal currency that you could buy, and then everyone backlashed and like, all right, no one wants this, we gotta take that out. But I don't know. I'm just thinking of it as a business point of view. I don't know much about businesses. I don't really care to know much about businesses. But Lama Su, because he's the prime minister, he's the president and CEO,
right.
He's trying to think of ways to make money.
Exactly.
And the only way that he knows how to make money is by cloning in this case, a pure genetic
Right.
clone.
So, as potentially a smart businessman, don't you think it would be smart of him to be like, okay, well, this plan's failed twice. We need to just find a new way to clone things. Obviously, you're right. That's probably not going to happen because then what the hell would the show be about?
Yeah, that probably isn't going to happen because, like I stated, they've been working with the same genes for over 10 years.
Oh, another thing I just thought of. So, based on the conversation that we heard the Kaminoans have, do we know if Lama Su hired Fennec Shand in the first place?
Malase hired her.
Okay.
I would assume so because that's who Fennec contacted at the end of the episode. That was Malase.
Well, yeah, that is, but that's because okay. What I'm thinking in my head is Lama Se wanted Omega back, so he hired Fennec Shand. Then, Nala Se was okay with it. She was like, whatever, like, we are going to get Omega back. This is cool. So they're hiring Fennec Shand sort of together. And then the Prime Minister's intentions become more clear. Like, oh, no, he just wants to extract the DNA and then let her go. So then after Fennec fails, he moves on to Cad Bane, but then Nala Se goes behind his back and secretly talks to Fennec again and says, okay, I need you to go stop this and get Omega to me before Cad, you know what I mean? Because clearly she had to have some information if she's coming in to stop the mission.
Yeah, really.
Also, like you said, they had a conversation, so, like, I don't doubt you, Nala Se definitely hired her for her latest appearance we just saw. But originally, like episode 3-ish, I think personally, I think Lama Su hired her.
I don't know.
That seems like it would make more sense.
I don't know. I was thinking, because due to gender, maybe the female Kaminoan hired the female bounty, and then the more aggressive male Kaminoan hired the more aggressive male bounty hunter. I was
That's
thinking
interesting.
I was thinking like that,
But I think that's just, I don't know.
Because like Fennec, I feel like
crap.
she's not as aggressive as Cad Bane.
I think that's just because she's not like as old or as you know what I mean? Like she doesn't know what it takes to. Dude, stop that.
I don't know, man. Just we'll have to wait and see.
But like you said, the title of the episode, obviously, none of this works out. Omega gets away.
Yeah.
By like almost committing suicide with her and Seth Green.
She gets into like an escape pod looking thing, and then it malfunctions, and the Bad Batch come in and catch it.
Nah, even before that, like she's trying to get down to the escape pod, and she dives on the robot.
She jumps on Toto, if that's even his name. I don't know.
I could not tell. I think it's Toto, but also that seems like a stupid name for a robot. I'm sorry, but it does.
Maybe his name is just TO-DO.
Maybe. Okay, I could see that.
Like T0-D0.
Yeah, I could see that.
And he was like, "Well, I'm not calling you T0."
Toto, right? Yeah.
But
but she just dives on the robot.
Yeah, she's like, you know what?
Screw this. We don't have time.
I don't have time for this,
And makes it to the pod. I was confused about that scene, like when she was falling in the pod, and then like it opens and Wrecker's up there. How the hell do they have a tractor beam on their ship? How did they catch her?
Probably. A lot of ships have tractor beams.
Oh, that's just a thing that's on those ships?
Not even necessarily a tractor beam, like a port that connects one ship to another.
Okay, but clearly because Wrecker was on top of her, that means she had to be on the bottom of the ship, so they had to come above her and catch her.
Well, yeah.
How the hell do you lock and dock a ship onto a ship like that without a tractor beam?
Don't know. You're asking the wrong guy.
You're the only guy I got.
Well, I don't know. There's obviously...
Learn more shit.
Well, physics don't apply in everything. So...
Well, I was just thinking it was weird. Like, I expected the Bad Batch to save her, obviously. But when the pod opened and it was Wrecker, I was so confused. Like, how? We just saw her falling, and then they're above her now? But you said they mostly come with tractor beams, so I'm just going to assume they have a tractor beam, and that's what they used to just catch her.
But on top of that, it looked like she was about to accept her fate when she was in the pod and it was coming down.
Honestly, I didn't really think much of that. I just thought she was going to fly somewhere else and land by herself and, like, have to deal with that. I really didn't imagine her dying.
That pod was malfunctioning. She wasn't landing. She was crashing.
Well, the way it was falling, though, like, I felt like she was going to hit water or something. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just stupid, but for some reason watching that, I at no point thought she was going to die.
Well, I didn't think she was going to die either.
Like, I never saw any stakes in the situation. I was just waiting for the next thing to happen.
But I'm pretty sure because, like, if the Bad Batch didn't get there, she was just going to accept her fate.
Wow. Okay, I didn't see that. I assumed she'd land in water or something by herself.
Well, that planet ain't Camino, so...
Yeah, but I don't know what's on that planet.
But even if it was
other than
Camino,
Hoth, I don't know planets.
and even if they were on Camino and she landed in water, there are creatures in that water. So she probably would have sank, and a creature would have probably messed with the pod.
Nah, she'd been fine.
Yeah.
Wrecker would have dove in and saved her.
Yeah. As you saw from episode 7. Yeah.
Exactly. He goes in the water. He'd rather do water than heights.
Episode 7. Battle Stars was 7, right?
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah,
but I don't know. How did this episode end, though? Did it end with them catching her in the pod?
It ended with Hunter and Omega talking about if, like, the Kaminoans... But the Kaminoans wanted to catch her.
Telling her why she's so important.
No, it literally ends with Hunter and Omega in, like, the cockpit while the ship's on autopilot about Hunter protecting her from any threat that comes their way.
Right. Even though he just got shot in the chest.
Hey.
And somehow die.
You know, he stooped to Cad Bane's level, and look what that got him.
Yeah, I don't think that was smart. That's all part of Cad's plan, honestly.
Hey, you know. And then, and speaking of...
you notice Fennec didn't fall for that.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, no, I'm not with that. But yeah, speaking of Cad Bane, like, when we first see him in the episode, the Western music starts playing again.
Oh, yeah,
and,
that was, yeah.
Like, come on, you had the cool Western music last episode. We don't, like, we figured...
That's his theme. We know what he's about.
What? There wasn't Western music in the Clone Wars.
Really? Or
No.
was there?
No.
Oh, well, you know, this ain't the Clone Wars, bitch.
What do you mean? This is the Clone Wars too, dude.
No. This is the Bad Batch. This is different.
But,
leave those alone.
That's pretty much all I have to say about the Bad Batch.
Yeah, me too.
Because, you know...
Please leave those alone. That sound is very annoying.
Fuck you.
I'm not even trying to joke. Like, I'll flick them off the table if you really can't stop touching them.
Shut up. So, you know, that was the Bad Batch. We're now moving on to Loki. This was a pretty good episode.
Of Loki, this was a weird-ass episode, man. I love the opening, though. Love the opening.
The opening was pretty cool, you know. It was a little trippy.
I liked the opening. It was like that song was playing, and then we got the cool color fade of the Marvel logo. I liked it. If they could all be like that, that'd be cool. With a different song.
Lie, I don't very much so like Sylvie as a villain anymore because, like, she looked badass when she was in that cloak, and we hadn't seen her face yet. But now that Loki's having conversations with her, I'm like, she doesn't seem like much of a threat.
I mean, her power set definitely is a threat.
Her power set is a threat, but she just seems like
But also, she's a Loki. I feel like she's got to be kind of like comically stupid, you know.
When I think of Sylvie, I think of like a bratty teenager in a sense.
To be honest, though, that is, I was sort of expecting that because, like, once they introduced her in episode 2, I'm like, oh, okay, she's not the real villain of the series. Clearly, after she said what she said in this episode about the TVA basically lying to everyone, and no, they're not created. They are all variants that they've apprehended over time, which totally made sense.
There was definitely some good moments in there between Loki and Sylvie,
but
you know,
like if the TVA is lying about that, then excuse me, sorry. Clearly, the beef of the show is going to be with the TVA, like Loki and Sylvie, or Sylvie or Loki, I don't know. Someone is going to meet the real TVA, and we're going to see what's actually going on, and like that's probably going to be the big cliffhanger everything ends with, like, oh my god, what's going on?
But I feel like it definitely was the best episode so far this series.
Oh yeah, but that's because it just gave us
a lot. But you know, hey, what do you mean? This is the last episode, man. They're about to die.
It didn't really give us too much. I mean, if you think about it, they kind of started in the same place, ended in the same place.
Oh yeah.
On Lamentus 1.
But you know,
their plans failed of trying to get away or
get
the TVA.
Well, of course
it just ended with everything exploding.
Literally everything exploding. Sylvie just like, fuck this.
But clearly this is only episode 3. Obviously they can't die right now.
No, what do you mean? You saw that there was only gonna be 6 episodes? No, there's only 3, dude.
Yeah, right.
The show's over. Loki escaping with the Tesseract? Yeah, that was for nothing.
Yeah, right. But, okay. So...
Yeah. You said you had a theory in your notes?
I did have a theory in my notes because I was watching this and I was like, okay, like, Sylvie, you know, which I'm going to keep calling her that because that's what she called herself. She's not Loki, but she's also not the Enchantress Sylvie, so I don't know if they're doing, like, a mashup between those characters, or, personally, I think they're doing something different that we haven't really been expecting. I kind of think, like, alright, we've seen Sylvie do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like with the mind stuff that we saw her do with the girl to figure out where the TVA is, the stuff she's trying with Loki. And then even we saw this episode, like, she can fight, too.
Yeah.
So, clearly her powers are better than Loki's. They almost kind of seemed like Wanda-level powers on some levels.
And that's the thing, though. Like, her powers that we see throughout this episode, like, seem like Enchantress.
They do, so maybe we're going to see that it's Enchantress. Or, what if, because she even said all the TVA stuff is a lie, let's just assume she's telling the truth and we can believe what she's saying, right? Yeah. And the TVA stuff is all a lie, then maybe what we think we know about her is a lie. She's maybe not a Loki variant. She could be the Enchantress, but maybe, I think possibly, she could be a Wanda Maximoff variant. That could be interesting. Not a Scarlet Witch, because, like, you know, the Scarlet Witch is, like, a significant person, but maybe she's just a variant of Wanda Maximoff that got powers.
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not saying it's like beyond the barrier of like craziness or whatever, because it's not crazy to think, because like we are talking about a show with variants, but
that was my first instinct was, okay, she's got powers like Wanda, maybe she has, you know, maybe she's a Wanda variant, because also when her and Loki were fighting by the elevator and he wanted to team up with her, he was like, yeah, well, now I see I can't, because I see you lack vision. You lack vision, Wanda lacks vision, and Vision's gone now, so like that was maybe a little clue to me. See, that's funny. I did watch that episode of New Rockstars, but also, like, I wasn't thinking about that when I was watching the episode. When he said, you lack vision, and then I thought about her having Wanda's powers, that kind of made me think, like, okay, whoa, like, what if that is a Wanda? What if that's, you know? Because clearly the whole point of this show is everything is not what it seems, because the TVA is fake.
Everything is not what it seems, but Loki has never met Vision. He wouldn't know of Vision, I don't think.
But he watched all of his life events play out.
Yeah, there was no Vision in his life events.
Okay, yeah, that's very true, actually. Because I was thinking, like, yeah, he could have seen Age of Ultron battle, and he could have seen the ending of Thanos because he saw Thanos kill him. Maybe he watched. I don't know how much they gave him access.
Well, it ended shortly after it showed Thanos dying.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I assume because it's a show, they don't necessarily literally show us everything. So I thought he had a bunch of time where he was just sitting there, like going through events and watching stuff. But you're right; it's probably just his life.
Yeah. I'm not saying that he doesn't know about Vision entirely, but this is a 2012 version of Loki, and Vision was not birthed yet
You're right. You're right.
until 2015.
You're right. That actually doesn't make sense.
Uh,
After you said Enchantress, now I'm just thinking like that's probably what they're gonna do is like just a Lady Loki Enchantress mashup, but it still reminds me of Wanda's powers.
well, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, though, Enchantress has powers similar to Wanda's.
Right, but what if it goes deeper than that? I'm just gonna be honest and say right now I don't know anything about the Enchantress.
I don't know much about her either.
Maybe she has a whole
But-
history that like is gonna shoot down what I'm about to say, but like what if she got her powers from the same source that Wanda got her powers from, like the evil deity Chthon or the Darkhold or whatever the hell, you know?
Wanda didn't get her powers from that. She got it from the Soul Stone.
I mean,
I mean,
did she though? She had powers before that. How the hell did she make the hex not? She had the probability powers because she put a hex on that bomb to make it not go off. And then her powers
yeah,
were
I
just
forgot about
amplified when she touched the Infinity Stone. And like then we saw the whole like, you know, vision of the Scarlet Witch and everything, and that's when she knew what she had the potential to be. But she still kind of had powers all along.
yeah, I forgot about that scene.
Because we find out in the comics, like I
But-
think it's Mephisto that marks her at birth as being someone that could hold powers, and then like uses her kids, you know, that whole storyline. So maybe her powers and Enchantress's powers stem from the same source. Because clearly they're not Eldritch magic
I
like
wouldn't
Doctor
put
Strange.
it past me, but your theory about it possibly being a Wanda variant, I don't.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
probably seems really stupid now that you said, like especially that Vision thing that doesn't hold up now. So yeah, you're right.
like obviously you could look at anything in Marvel and like, oh my god, he just hinted towards Vision. Oh my god, you know, yeah, that's just how
People
they-
do that all the time with numbers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that number! What comic is that? What's going on?
Yeah, like people look at license plates all the time displayed throughout the Marvel movies. I'm like, oh my god, that's a Spider-Man issue
Yep,
3 or something.
that's from Disney. No, doing the A1.
Yeah, they use A1 a lot though.
They use that number from the room for. Yep, I can't remember the exact number, but they throw it in a lot of Disney movies because it was like the room number of like the main animating room when Pixar
Yeah.
first started.
And then on top of that, I'm pretty sure Princess Leia's cell number was A1, or it was
Maybe I don't know.
I don't remember, but
We should know.
yeah, we should know.
We
but,
saw it from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
we
really.
should know.
But I don't know. Anything could happen. Like this season 1 ending of Loki.
Season 1 ending. What? You mean this episode ending?
No,
Oh, okay, okay. Where do you think season 1's
Uh,
gonna end then?
like people are theorizing that season 1 could end with it being a tie-in to Multiverse of Madness.
Well, clearly,
What else? Shang-Chi, I think, was a tie-in.
Shang-Chi.
I don't know. And then something else. I forget.
I mean, the way Marvel works, I feel like there's tiny little things that could be tie-ins everywhere, but I really don't see this and
I don't know,
Shang-Chi
there-
playing much of a role
there
unless like we
was
get into variant stuff.
a theory specific, like with it tying into 3 future Marvel things. I don't know. I don't remember.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of
Well,
Madness
that,
would be
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on what's coming out now for some reason. Oh, Fantastic Four it could branch off of.
Oh, and then Black Widow was another thing.
Okay.
Which that comes
Oh
out.
my gosh, what if like the whole Black Widow movie is just like it take place in a variant timeline or something?
That'd be kind of stupid.
Yeah, it would.
But
I was watching some theory videos and like they were trying to get really wild with variants and they were talking about what if like Loki brings in the Fantastic Four because we see the Council of Reeds, like the TVA is just 3 Reed Richard variants.
Jesus.
But then I've also seen like Kang the Conqueror.
King the Conqueror would make more
That
sense.
yep. Because time is his domain. So it, if anything, right now at this very moment in time, my hardest heart feeling tells me that like we're gonna find out the TVA is a sham and it's Kang behind it, and like it's gonna just end with that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna get to like, oh my god, the TVA's fake, it's Kang.
And that's what
Boom.
that's what I was thinking, that King could possibly come in at the last minute in this, and then he'd be officially in Ant-Man 3.
Right,
so.
right. Well, he wouldn't technically be here in the last minute. We would see him officially in the last minute, but he's the one that's been running things all along.
Oh yeah, but you know, like we've stated, Marvel likes to introduce, they like to announce characters, or they like to introduce characters in something and then flesh them out more in the next thing that he's actually gonna be in. Like with Captain Marvel, they teased Captain Marvel at the end of Infinity War. Same year the next year we get a movie.
Well, yeah, Marvel, but so. I mean that's not really the same because we got Captain Marvel. We don't get to see her and then flesh her out. That was just a big tease to make hype for Captain Marvel.
But the point is, although we didn't see her, this Infinity War introduced her, and then the movie.
No, it didn't though. Infinity War didn't introduce her. Her movie introduced her. We just knew that like it was a little Easter egg that she could be here. That is not the same thing at all. What you're talking about would be like the opening scene to Captain America when they open the ship and he rubs off the ice block and we see Cap's shield and then it like snaps to Captain and Bucky getting his ass kicked in the alley. It's like it looks like 2 different stories, but it's not.
Whatever, you knew what I meant though. Fuck you. That's all I gotta say. Fuck you. What else happened in this episode? Loki apparently comes out as bisexual.
See, that was... Okay, alright.
You know, just gotta throw that in there. My fuck you to you.
First of all, it's Pride Month, so you know, I kind of think... I don't know if this was on purpose by Marvel or if, like, we're just kind of grasping at strings. But either way, I don't care if he's bisexual or not. Like, it really doesn't matter or make a difference.
And then the fact that they throw that in there, just like we're not about to be seeing Tom Hiddleston's Loki. We're probably gonna stop seeing him in like 2 years.
Right, but there is gonna be an openly gay character in the Young Avengers, I believe. The Eternals. Yep. But I believe one of the Young Avengers is gay too.
Isn't Tommy?
I think so. I'm not sure though. But anyway, I kind of felt stupid because I saw a bunch of videos about like the bisexual thing come out. So then I went and actually like saw the clip. And I don't know. I think we're reading into it a little bit because I am paraphrasing. I'm not quoting because I can't exactly remember. But like Sylvie was talking to him and, you know, they were talking and she said something along the lines of like, oh, I'm sure you've had a bunch of people throwing themselves at you too, like would-be princesses or princes. And then he says, yeah, a bit of both, but nothing that ever seemed, and then they both say real or something like that.
Well...
So yeah, he confirms guys and girls have been throwing themselves at him, but like, you're a frickin' prince. I mean, that would be the same as if, like, Zac Efron walked down the street or something. You really think there's not going to be a bunch of people that are like, oh my god, it's a famous movie star, we want to see him.
You know,
Clearly, that drags out some
people
weirdos.
are-
That doesn't necessarily mean that he ever tried to pursue anything with a guy, though.
I mean, I don't know. He definitely does give off a little smile when he says a little bit of both. But
Well,
you know.
right, but then at the same time, I've kind of said something like that, too, because I've had gay guys hit on me, too, so I could say, yeah, you know, a little bit of both.
Yeah,
I gotta fight him off here
I
and
know,
there.
definitely. There could definitely be people like overthinking it because, like I said, it's the Marvel.
Yeah, and it's Pride Month, so I think
Cinematic
people are kind of
universe,
just,
so-
like, overthinking it.
Like, oh my God, Loki comes out as bi. Wow.
Again, honestly, it really, like, it doesn't matter, but I was just thinking about it because I thought, how could I miss something like that? And I went and rewatched it, and I'm like, oh, because it's kind of like a weird little throwaway. It doesn't seem like much of anything. That just seems like what someone in their positions of power would deal with. Not because they're bisexual, because they're freaking, like, Asgardian royalty or Frost Giant
Nah,
royalty.
dude, what are you talking about? In Thor 4, Thor's totally gonna talk about how Loki took it in the butt once.
Whoa, what?
What?
What are you talking
I was making a joke about him
No,
actually being bi.
no,
Like, come on.
No. I don't accept these terms.
What?
No. But, so, freaking... We see where they went, you know, obviously they get stuck on Lamentis 1 from that
Yeah,
portal.
in 2077, by the way, which I find funny. For those of you who are gamers, I could think about Cyberpunk 2077. You know, my father.
Holy fuck.
Shut up. Yeah, no.
Just say what you're gonna say.
Yeah, when the year 2077 popped up, I could the only thing that I could think about.
I didn't
was-
even think about Cyberpunk 2077 until you said that.
Well, you know, because I'm a gamer, you know, I play video games. As you can see.
Oh my gosh, this light is so cool. And he didn't even know that it could do that. It was just like all of them were solid on.
But you know,
We push buttons.
Yeah. You know, I'm a gamer, so I'm like, oh, I made the connection to Cyberpunk, even though. Oh, I'm gonna think of something definitely too crazy to where like.
What? I want to hear it.
So, Lamentis 1, you know, it's doomed to get destroyed or whatever.
Right. It's got an
and
apocalypse, like another planet's crashing into
yeah,
it.
and Cyberpunk 2077's launch was what's the word I'm looking for? It was garbage.
Right.
Like it was.
Yeah, the game was super hyped up, and then it wasn't what it was supposed to be,
Well,
right? Because a lot of features
You know,
weren't
I
added right away.
had the word in my head, the proper word to like make it kind of connect with what I was trying to say. But I lost train of thought. So
Nice.
we can ignore this.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry
But,
for wasting your time.
So, like, she tries to overthrow the TVA, doesn't work. They end up on Lamentis 1. They've basically doomed them all. She says Loki doomed them because he fucked with the tempad, took
Yeah.
it away. Now they're stuck in this, with the worst of all the apocalypses, she says.
Yeah. Like I get it. Like with Pompeii, you can just go out of the radius of the volcano.
Right, like, this is planetary. You can't really leave.
Planetary destruction. Like.
Oh, no.
And then you're.
It's
then you're
Ragnarok all over again.
And then your ride off the planet just gets destroyed.
I liked their plan, though. They thought, like, because, okay. Wait, all right. Time out. Before we get into any of that. Do you remember that scene where they're both on the train and she tries to enchant Loki? He's like, what are you doing? And she's like, what are you doing?
They weren't on the train yet. They were
whatever.
in a mining thing.
Oh, okay, whatever. Well, you know what I'm talking
But
about.
yeah, it was kind of awkward because they were looking at each other like they were about to kiss.
I know!
And I'm like, what are they doing?
Which actually doesn't bother me that much because I know everybody's like, but that's Loki. First of all, he's making out with himself, technically.
Yeah.
So if anything, that's incest at best. And then, like, secondly, if you're correct and she's actually the enchantress, then there's no relation at all, so everybody can chill.
Yeah, like
Because they were definitely given some chemistry vibes.
Yeah, they definitely were a little bit. Although I feel like the moments where like when they were talking about love, that moment where it looked like they were about to kiss, kind of seems like it was just thrown in there to make
Right.
conversation for the episode.
Oh my gosh, when he compared love to an imaginary dagger,
I
I
mean,
don't know why, but like that resonated with me perfectly, and then she just shot it down, and I was like, what?
like I like the idea of love being mischief, but then I love the idea of love being a dagger, where like, you know,
I mean, I
I
don't
don't need
know.
to explain to you how it went. You heard the
There's no
conversation.
way to quantify it. Love is a lot of different stuff.
Love, yeah, I would say so. And
But I
then
bring that up about them being in the mind thing because what if, like, from that point on, maybe it all is an illusion and someone is, like, maybe she is messing with Loki's head or he's messing with her head or something. Like, maybe he didn't break the temp pad at all. Maybe that was an illusion and he's like, oh, yeah, here's this broken temp pad. And then he uses that as a way to, like, get to know her more and get more information out of her.
I could see it, but based on the mid-season trailer, the I'm pretty sure it's the reality because the TVA ended up showing up
Oh,
probably
okay. I
right
didn't
before
see that.
the TVA will probably end up showing up before the destruction of the planet even happens.
I'm
Coming
confused as
to
to why though, because if Loki's plan is correct, then there shouldn't be any variant energy, even though they're both
well,
fucking
probably
around there.
not, but the TVA wants Sylvie,
Right.
so they will probably figure out where she is or figure out where Loki and Sylvie went, go there, and then arrest probably both Loki and Sylvie. But who knows?
They even I don't think they're gonna get arrested, but if they do, they're definitely not staying there for long.
Yeah, no, like you could make the joke. Oh, I thought we were gonna get 6 episodes. They appear to die in this episode.
Well, they're clearly not gonna
Yeah,
die.
no,
Like that's.
clearly.
But also, I don't think they're gonna get arrested because if they got arrested, like the TVA doesn't seem like they mess around. Like they kind of harshly sentence you really quickly, and like Loki seems to be lucky he's gotten this far. So it's like I feel like if they capture them, there's not really much questions asked. They're just gonna zap them out of existence.
Maybe, but then
Like,
that
why would they question them?
that was gonna happen in the first episode, but then Mobius, not Morbius, Mobius. You know, he stepped in and basically saved him from being zapped.
Right, but now even he was yelling, Loki, wait, before he ran into the thing, so I don't really know that Mobius is on his side anymore. Because he even said, when he was talking to the judge, like, oh,
Yeah.
well, if this fails, then I'll just reboot him myself. So Mobius doesn't seem like he's in it because he likes Loki. He seems like he's in it for the mission. And if he's not helping with the mission, then what good is he? I don't think
I mean,
they're gonna imprison him. I think they're gonna terminate him.
knowing Loki, I could definitely see him trying to hand Sylvie over to the TVA. And I'm like, hey, I got the variant you wanted. What's up?
This was my plan all along. Make her think I was on her side, but really I'm on your side. I'm a double agent.
Yeah, that's the double agent thing. Definitely seems
I
like
could totally see that. Oh my god. And then on the flip side, if like they don't buy that and they both like him and Sylvie do escape, she's like, "What the hell, man?" And he's just like, "Nah, that was all part of the plan. I was gonna lure them in, and then we were gonna mess them up, and then escape." Like he's just gonna make it fit whatever he needs to.
yeah.
Oh
But then again, Sylvie doesn't seem to buy some of his BS.
she doesn't. But then also from this episode, she seemed a tad bit more gullible than I at first thought.
Yeah, and that's what I was basically trying to explain in the beginning of this whole bit. Like, she seemed more like a badass and a criminal before she revealed who she was.
Right,
And then she reveals herself, and then she just seems like a bratty teen.
right. That's why it's getting a little bit more stupid, but at the same time, now it makes me more interested because, like, this is just further proof. Like, if she's acting like this and we thought she was this big bad and she's really not, then there is a big bad coming. And I don't know if it's Miss Minutes or the TVA. It's probably the TVA. Or, I don't think the TVA is real. That's got to be, I think, some Kangs doing some shenanigans.
That'd be hilarious. Sylvie and Loki fight a... basically a man-sized Miss Minutes. That'd be funny, even though...
Well, I saw another video that suggested that she was actually one of the first variants, or maybe she is Lady Loki, and she did something so bad that, like, they put her in, like... They enslaved her in the TVA, but made her that so that she couldn't do any more damage, you know? Like, so they could really keep an eye on her.
Yeah, I saw that theory as well.
Because as we know, the TVA is all just variants.
And on top of that theory, because it was New Rockstars that I heard the theory from. They did mention that when Miss Minutes was talking about the TVA, it showed a variant that was a cup of that person.
Yeah.
In the animation, so, like, variants tend to be inanimate objects. So.
That whole video actually was giving me Rick and Morty vibes, like when they were watching Interdimensional Cable.
Yeah.
Because, like, they just... Again, that cup guy, that doesn't seem like something that's necessarily real. Like, there's a reality where there's cup people. So that was actually kind of cool to see Marvel do that, because it's like, oh, okay, then this is actually going to get real weird.
On top of that, Lamentis, like, the color scheme of the planet kind of, like, fits one of the planets that could possibly be in Rick and Morty. And then the guards, their outfits gave me, like, Spaceballs guard vibes, if you know what I'm talking about.
I do, yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh, I brought that movie up at work the other day and nobody knew what I was talking about.
People at my work know that movie.
I was so ashamed. I was like, you don't know Spaceballs? How do you... And then I tried to explain it to him a little bit. I said, okay, it's like, have you ever seen Scary Movie? You know how it's like a spoof of all other scary movies? It's basically like that, but for Star Wars and Star Trek.
And people didn't know it.
And they were like, doesn't sound that good. I'm like, no, it's horrible. That's the point. It's amazing.
Yeah, like, it came out in the 70s.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Like, it's got John Candy, a good comedian. Like, come on, people.
Like, come on.
Uncultured swine.
Like, yeah, it's... Just know, guys, we're only 20, but we watch...
We try to be well-versed.
We've seen movies that are way before our time.
Living with my grandparents has had some advantages.
Yes.
But anyway, so they play a bunch of mind games, right? And then what else happens in this episode that's worth mentioning?
Loki gets thrown out of a train. Literally.
Yes! And then she dives out too because he has the temp pad, which then gets broke.
Yeah.
Which... I didn't want to believe at first. I kind of thought that was Loki playing a trick, but also it does seem like something that's stupid that would happen. But I'm just confused on how the TVA is supposed to come in at the end of the episode then, or next episode, I guess. At the end of this situation and save them, because how do they know where they are? Have they really checked all of the apocalypse throughout time?
I don't know, man. Just based on the mid-season trailer, you see a shot of Sylvie in the time collar and then shackles. So,
okay.
I'm pretty sure
you only see Sylvie?
Yeah. Loki's not in that shot.
Okay. Of course not.
But speaking of trailers, did you see the Shang-Chi trailer that dropped like 3 days ago?
I did see the Shang-Chi trailer. You keep saying Chang, but it's Shang.
Shut up.
I'm sorry, but like...
Shang.
There are people...
Hey.
Across the nation listening to this, and they're like, no, you're not saying my name right, sir. You want me to call you Zach?
Hey. That's not the same.
How is that not the same?
It's not the same.
How is it not?
Because I'm not intending...
No, I know.
Chang,
Well, right, but what if someone else isn't intending on that? It's someone that maybe English isn't a first
But
language
either
and they
way,
read.
shut up. The reason why I bring that up, the fucking Shang, or as people at New Rockstars like to say, Shang. Dude, that's fucking weird.
No.
That's
ew.
weird. I don't care if it's pronounced that way. I'm not pronouncing it that way.
Shang-Chi.
Abomination and Wong are like fighting. And hello, Emil Blonsky. I didn't think you were coming back till She-Hulk.
Honestly, I saw that and I'm like, what? First of all, we don't know necessarily that it's Wong.
Not necessarily,
but it's a sorcerer.
People did compare the body.
It definitely seems like Wong. Like, I'm 85% sure it's Wong.
So but the fact that they put Abomination in there, that's like, oh hey, that movie that came out more than 10 years ago?
You know the movie that we like to pretend just doesn't exist?
Yeah, we're bringing the villain back from that movie.
Also, that's interesting though, because of course they bring him back because you have to remember it's sort of a Spider-Man situation with the Hulk. Like Universal has rights to the Hulk, not Marvel. So
yeah.
That's why there's not ever been a solo Hulk movie in the MCU yet, because they have to work out a deal they did with Spider-Man.
Sadly.
Right.
Which I would love to see Mark Ruffalo do a solo Hulk movie.
At this point, I think it could happen. But it seems like we've seen so much of the Hulk already that if they're going to do something like that, we're going to get a Planet Hulk storyline.
We've definitely seen a lot of Hulk, for sure. And I'm not going to lie, but yes, we did grow up watching that old Hulk movie that came out in the early 2000s.
We watched Eric Bana Hulk.
And not going to lie, the 2003 Hulk and the 2008 Hulk, not the best films. But, I watched The Incredible Hulk because it is part of the MCU.
Right, that's going to be what? Are you not going to watch Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
Oh, well, I like those movies. So.
I do too, actually. Everybody people hate on the third one, but I like it.
People hate on the third one, but I'm
I like it.
No, just either you watch them all or you don't watch any of them.
I mean, if you're going to say that, Mr. Star Wars fan, then what about the last... What about 1 through 9, buddy?
I've watched all of 1 through 9, buddy.
Yes, but you refuse...
You
don't like to believe that 8 and 9 exist.
I don't like to believe that 8 and 9 exist, but when I rewatch them and I get to them, I will watch them.
Okay.
Yeah, because they are still canon, as much as I hate to consider them canon. But,
But yes.
Yeah, we were talking about Loki.
I did see the Shang-Chi trailer.
Yeah?
And there's kind of a lot... That movie just seems... really awesome, and I can't wait. But yeah, I don't... Do you think that because we see Wong and Abomination fighting, do you think this is some variant world?
I don't think so. People are theorizing that it's Madripoor.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen Madripoor in Falcon the Winter Soldier.
That would actually support the theory that we were talking about long ago, that maybe the Mandarin could be the power broker.
Yeah. That I could definitely see that, because I refuse to believe Sharon's the power broker.
No, we got that shitty ass reveal, but she was talking to someone on the other end of the cell phone. That's the brains behind the operation.
Yeah, I just don't.
No.
Not because she's a woman. No.
It's 100% because she's a woman. Fuck her. We love Wanda and everything, we ignore the fact that she's a woman. People are so stupid. Why would you have to say because she's a woman? We've just been talking about No, I get it.
Yeah.
It's just come on, man. We don't have Aloy and Ellie and Lola Bunny as Wonder Woman, and come on, we got diversity in the Pops. We even have Wonder Woman.
Oh, even on top of that, I really want to believe that Sharon, while she was in hiding, was training under the Red Rum or whatever
The
that's
Red
called.
Room.
The Red Widow.
Red Room.
Red Rum. No, what?
The Red
what's-
Room
The Red Room.
with
Yes.
Black Widow, like that.
Yeah, like because like she. That was a theory that I had over a month ago.
That would be pretty cool.
And like she is a lot more aggressive throughout Falcon and Winter Soldier than she was ever in the Winter Soldier and Civil War.
You know why?
Why?
She could also be a Skrull too. Think about it. We haven't seen her in a while. Maybe she's
like
just
how-
up on that ship with Nick, and like this is a Skrull pretending to do his best impersonation of her.
You know, that I could see because
Everyone's a
Sharon.
Skrull.
Because as you saw in the Winter Soldier, Sharon is one of his quote unquote most trusted
Right,
employees for
Mhm.
Shield. So, but let's be honest. I think we ran out of shit to talk about for Loki. Although it was a good episode, there wasn't really a lot that happened. If I'm being entirely
Right,
honest.
it seemed like one of the filler episodes to like the Bad Batch. That's what I said at the beginning. We started on Lamentus, we ended on Lamentus. Like, I mean, all this was character building.
Yeah.
We got to see Sylvie a little bit.
I loved the like purplish pink skyline though. You know that was dope.
I didn't understand the Loki getting drunk part, if I'm honest, though. Like, that just seemed
That-
like they did that so he could give stupid information that he might not have necessarily talked about.
I don't know. But you know, the fact that they threw in the famous Thor line from the first Thor movie, another.
That was good. I don't. That is based on real stuff, but makes me like that's super weird to me. Why would you break your cup if you want another?
Yeah, I don't.
I get it nowadays. We're so wasteful as humans, but especially back then, like, come on, man. Mom's gonna have to go out in the backyard and carve a whole nother cup. Like, what the fuck, dude? Just breaking dishes?
Yeah. And then on top of that, when he was singing in Asgardian, he was actually saying stuff. I don't remember what he was saying, because I did watch the breakdown of the episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Eric Voss did state that he was saying actual things.
I did not know
Because-
that was Asgardian, but it makes sense. I thought it was like Latin or something.
Well, Asgardian is actually just based off, I think, Norwegian.
Well,
I think it's based off
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Norse
So he's-
mythology.
Yeah. So.
But I wonder what he was saying, because I don't know what that song is. I didn't know. I kind of thought he was just saying a drunken, like, I didn't. Some parts of it, I heard it, and I was like, okay, he's just speaking a different language. And then other parts I heard of it, and I was like, he's just slur talking.
Yeah, no, that was Norwegian.
Oh, okay.
I like how I do quotation marks because it actually is Norwegian, but in the Marvel Studios or MCU, it's Asgardian. So.
Do you think that was a voiceover, or do you think Tom Hiddleston actually...
I mean, I would be kind of disappointed if it was just a voiceover, like, because I don't know if they do it in Star Wars, but like when there's like a character that speaks a different language, like Huttese, that's Jabba's language. I would imagine they actually have someone like speak this gibberish language, because Huttese is actually, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
Huttese,
yeah, of course
yeah.
they have someone do it, but I just didn't know if they took the time to have Tom Hiddleston, like, teach him all of the things, how to say it, and get a bunch of different takes of him saying stuff right, or if they
Well,
just
that probably-
voiced it over.
They probably did teach him Norwegian.
It does make
obviously.
sense, because it was a drunk scene, so they're like, oh, well, if you just mess up, you're drunk. You're just
Yeah.
slurring your words.
So,
I'm interested now. You said the TVA come in. I really can't see how they can come into this, but
I don't know, just
we'll have to wait and see.
we'll have to wait and see, but you could also just watch the mid-season trailer that dropped yesterday. So
No, I could, but it's like that doesn't explain why they're there. It's just
I
we see
don't.
'em.
Yeah, it doesn't explain. You are right,
But like you said, only Sylvie's in the handcuffs. I think they did that intentionally, so now we can sit here and be like, oh my god. So like, is Loki still on good terms with them? Is he gonna do what you said and be like, oh yeah, I was with you the whole time? Or is he also gonna be locked up right next to her?
I don't know, because again, I am a little disappointed that this Loki doesn't feel like 2012 Loki at all. Like he still kind of feels like the character that we knew developed from Ragnarok.
If I'm honest, I like that.
I like it because like there is still the character development, but Loki and Thor in the first Avengers, he's not necessarily a bad guy all the way. As he said, the people that are bad aren't truly bad, but the people that are good aren't truly good.
Right.
So, um, you know, just it doesn't feel like they went through the extra steps to make him still feel like the 2012 version of Loki.
I guess I get that. I feel like they can hide behind the excuse of like, oh, okay, well he's not really 2012 Loki, and he's not really the Loki that died because like yes he saw all those events, but they didn't unfold quite that late. Like he wasn't there. It's him watching a screen,
Yeah.
so he's
And
feeling emotion towards all that stuff that happened, but in a different way.
And
so
I
this
definitely-
is like a third version of Loki.
and I definitely don't want them to use, oh, the events that he saw changed him emotionally and physically.
Right, yeah. I feel like that's what they're gonna do though. Like I feel like that whole scene in episode 1 was just like that's how they got past explaining like, oh, okay, this is the Loki that we're used to.
No, I'm not hating on the man. That's our boy Tom Hiddleston. So, you know.
No, but I feel you though. You're kind of right. Like he's not doing things that
Feel
2012
yeah.
Loki would do. But also, take into consideration that Infinity Stone scene. Like this man was working for Thanos using the power of an
Yeah.
Infinity Stone, what he thought was the greatest in the world. And then all in like a day, he saw
Multiple
like
versions
his
of each
boss
stone,
kill
then-
him,
yep.
and he saw a place where like stones are what he thought was the most powerful thing in the universe, not the Earth, the universe is useless.
So
that's kind of freaking mind shattering a little
So
bit.
I guess there are certain aspects that I feel like did change him, but I don't know. I feel like it would take time for like shit to kick in.
Right. Mobius did say, or no, not Mobius. I think it was Loki in one of the earlier episodes. Someone was talking, or maybe it was this one. He said something about how he wasn't going to run away because it would be useless because he knows the TVA would catch him.
Yeah, it was in episode 2.
Okay. So based on that, that kind of showed me like, oh, okay, he seems to have given up. But then in this one, we see his whole goal was just to make them think that, and then he's trying to overthrow the TVA as well.
Well, at least so he says. He comes out and says that he wants to meet the timekeepers and overthrow them, but I don't know. I really don't.
New Rockstars had a theory that like Sylvie was one of the people that got abducted and like inducted into the TVA. She was a variant, but because of the powers that she has, like her memories didn't get wiped. So she kept all of her original life memories, and then that's how she found out like, oh, this is a bunch of bullshit. And like now she's just trying to actually be the good guy and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to free all of these variants and put them back in their timelines. So that's why the TVA came up with this propaganda shit to show Loki.
She sure does like the sound of killing Loki every 30 seconds in like the first like 20 minutes of the episode. Like when it first starts, she just tries to kill him like every 30 seconds about. Or
Yeah.
Like she's definitely more hostile if she is.
But again,
quote-unquote, trying
that
to be the
plays
hero.
into Loki's quote, not everyone that's good is good and not everyone that's bad is truly bad. Like, at the end of the day, these are just people living their lives trying to get stuff done. So Sylvie trying to kill him isn't necessarily because she's bad. It's just because she's trying to get her plan done.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely think she's not meant to be the villain anymore, because if she was the villain, like, she'd be a bigger threat, and her and Loki
Yeah,
are just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, the TV, something else is coming. I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah,
it's Renslayer, or if she knows more.
We'll just have to wait and see, guys. We'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, yeah.
But we have been the Geeks that Speak, and we'll see you next week.